We're here live on a Veterans Day, honoring all the veterans, past and present here. Before we get the show started, we're going to have a moment of silence for all those veterans that have passed, have given their lives, ultimate sacrifice, and those that continually sacrifice. That's not just in the military, that's just in the people that, EMTs, fire department, and, some people don't like it, the police department, law enforcement. But yeah, we would take a moment of silence for them today. Appreciate that. As I'm a veteran myself, I went in the end of 1999. It's funny, it was actually Halloween when I was actually in basic training. Thinking back on that here, so and having a basic training photo, having one of those photos, a picture of this was me out there, and you can tell, you can actually, it'll show you exactly, the exact date, obviously, November of, November of, yeah, November of 2020. So 22 fucking years ago, I was in the military. Man, makes me feel kind of old. But that was my unit, man. And God bless all those men and women that I went to basic training with, my drill sergeants, both my female drill sergeant and also my my male drill sergeant, and also my female and male peers. Hopefully they're doing well. If they're not here, I pray for their families. But yeah, so just to show you a little bit of things of me, I ended up, ended my service as an E4. This was my unit patch here. It's part of an engineering battalion. Obviously, every military veteran person has one of these dog tags. So, just some things that I like to share about myself from the military. I went in those '09 Bravo. If you don't know what '09 Bravo is, that means the United States Army, whatever their needs were, that's where they were going to place me. Well, obviously, they didn't do their due diligence because after I went through my basic training, which I did in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, out there, shouts out to Fort Sill, Oklahoma. It was a beautiful place, very small, very rural. Reminds me of the town I live in right now. So shouts out to Fort Sill. Boom, artillery. Even though I didn't end up being an artillery, I ended up being an engineer, as it says and done. But after basic training, I was '09 Bravo. They were going to make me a petroleum supply specialist, but since I didn't have a driver's license, I can't drive the petroleum truck, so I could have been I could have been a gas specialist. I had the gas. For all the cool kids and the people that get high. I had the gas. But no, I ended up reclassifying as a topographic analyst, which basically means that I printed maps. I was a terrain analyst map maker, basically printed maps. So whatever image they got, we were able to. I was the man that printed them out, and then basically we would hand them out. Ultimately, what we did when I was in Iraq, once I got to my duty station, which happened to be in Germany, which was a beautiful place. Shout out to Hanau, Germany. Pioneer Concern. I mean, it's closed now. It's kind of a shame. So if I ever wanted to take my family or anybody to show them where exactly I stayed at in Germany and all that, can't do that. But yeah, I fortunately saw some combat. I was a part of Operation Iraqi Freedom back in 2003, and I was spent my last year of the army in combat. So 9/11 happened when I was in job training at AIT when I was in Virginia, and shouts out to Alexandria, Virginia, and Fort Belvoir. in the defense mapping school. So yeah, got a lot of memories, made a lot of friends. Still talk to some people. Found out a lot of people I know and care for have died, especially my one friend Raymond this year. So Veterans Day's tough, but you know what? We gotta fight the battle and march on. That used to be what we used to say. You gotta suck it up and drive on. Even though we saw, peers of us, gave their ultimately sacrificed their life for right, wrong, or different, whoever the people are. I'm not getting here political today because it ain't even about that. Today's bigger than me, bigger than sports. But this is my way of honoring those that sacrificed their life, continually were good pillars and good people in their communities and to their families that may they may have family members that children that do serve and follow in their footsteps or not, but honoring their memory is what we do for those that we love. We honor them in life and honor them in death. So, being that is, we had some bets yesterday that did not were not very good. We're not very good, but that's okay. So we'll knock those out first here before we got some get into some. So we'll get into the we'll break down what the first parlay was. Our NCAA men's and women's basketball parlay. We matched them up together here. We had the over 142 and a half points in the Quinnipiac and Stony Hill men's. This is the men's side. It was minus 102. That cashed for us. The Stephen F. Austin Lumberjack men's team. We had the -5 on the spread. They covered that and won. We had the over 135 points even with Southern Illinois and Oklahoma State. That went under and actually Oklahoma State lost by 1 point, 61-60. So we had Houston Christian plus 37. That was pretty bad. They got beat pretty good, a lot more than just 37 points. We had the over 131 and a half with Vermont and St. Mary's, California, the Gales. That went 132, so that cashed by 1. And then ladies basketball, the Lady Jaspers of Manhattan, they did not cover. They were plus 233. They lost pretty bad. The ladies of Manhattan Jaspers got beat pretty bad. The Lipscomb Bison, the lady Lipscomb Bison, they were plus 504. They were winning this game. They ended up going to overtime. Then they tied it again, went to double overtime. Then it got tied in double overtime, went to a third overtime, and the Lipscomb Bison, they just couldn't. They just ran out of gas there. So shout outs to the ladies of the Norris out there in North Kentucky. The ladies of the Army, we had them -2.5. They did not cover. And then we also had the lady upstate Spartans and the lady Mountaineers of West Virginia, the over. That did not cover. That went under. We had the over 114.5 between the lady Seahawks of Wagner and the lady Gallows of the Iona. The ladies from Iona. Let's just say that was a W. They went over. We had the over 127.5 between the ladies of Southern and the ladies from Iowa State. That covered. Then we had in the men's side here, we had Presbyterian and Citadel, the over 133.5. That did not cover. And we had the Fighting Hawks of North Dakota plus 31 against Creighton. They did not cover. So we were 5-8 ultimately in our NCAA men's and women's parlay yesterday. not very well. All right, so we go to our second parlay where we put the Thursday night football game, the Thursday night college football, and we also threw in a NHL game and all NBA. So we had the over 41.5 points from the Falcons and Panthers. It went under, and Panthers actually won. Georgia Southern on the money line, they got beat pretty bad, so I feel kind of bad about picking them. The under 62 points between Tulsa and Memphis, that covered. We had the over 209 in the Mavericks and the Wizards, that covered. That was a W. We had the over 213 in the Hornets and the Heat. That had to go to overtime to cover for us. We had the Hawks to win by a point and a half. They covered that. We had the Portland Trailblazers without Dame Lillard getting the W plus 285 yesterday. And then we had the Chicago Blackhawks losing in overtime to the Los Angeles Kings. So ultimately we lost 3 games in this parlay here. We won 5. We went 5-3. So we did a little bit better in our second parlay here. But still, just because you win 5 and you lose 3 doesn't mean that you get a sum. It means if you lose one, you lose them all. I just kind of write down which ones I got right, which ones I got wrong. And we had a player bet prop parlay here, Mykayla Walker here to have an interception here. That did not cash. We got $12 here on a dollar bet. And I also did a college basketball first shot of the game made in 6 games. That did not cover here, so we lost in that one here. So we lost this parlay here. So. All right, so and then our player props, we ended up losing it by 2 players in NBA and also in the so 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 we got some sports today here, so we're gonna, obviously get into that here. Get into the sports right now here. Let's get into some getting into the college, because I believe a lot of these college teams have already started here. So yeah, we're gonna. Okay. All right. All right. There we go. What's up?
Josh Allen's not gonna play.
That's good.
Elbow injury. Good for you guys.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's gonna be a good game though. I mean, despite even Josh Allen being out, I mean, they gotta win. I mean, they got to win. They got to get the dubs, because if they don't get the dubs, they ain't gonna get no love. All right, we're gonna go here. Seems like we're having some technical difficulties here, but To look at some of these games going on right now here. There's some action going on right now. We definitely know that both in men's and women's. So we're going to break that down right now here. All right, so let's move this here. We're going to, all right, get ourselves nice and comfortable here. Make sure the flag don't touch the ground here. Don't desecrate the flag here. That might help. That might happen some other places, but not here. All right, so we got in the second half here with only 2 minutes and 26 seconds left. We have Detroit Mercy, the Titans of Detroit, have already won. They've already won a game this season. They are winning by 4 points over Boston College here. They're in Boston College here, so they're in Massachusetts right now. Got 2 minutes to go here, so a tightly contested ball game nonetheless there. Then the Jacksonville, the Dolphins, they're leading at halftime 37-24. Then we have Fresno State taking on Santa Barbara, the Gauchos. Then we got the Fighting Blue Hens of Delaware taking on the Air Force at the Clune Arena in Colorado Springs. We got the Blazers of UAB taking on the Toledo Rockets in Philadelphia, PA. We have the Mercer Bears taking on Mulligan. Then we have the Veterans Classic between the number 3 ranked Houston Cougars and the St. Joseph Hawks today in Annapolis in Alumni Hall in Navy. We have Howard taking on George Washington in Washington, D.C. at the Charles E. Smith Center. We have the Asheville Championship in Asheville, North Carolina at the Harris Cherokee Center between the Raging Cajun of Louisiana and the Harvard Crimson. Then we have the Boston University Terriers versus the Huskies. Both teams are 1-1 on the season. We have the Patran Armed Forces Classic between the number 2 ranked Gonzaga Bulldogs that are 1-0 against the Michigan State Tom Izzo-led Spartans. This game will be played on the USS Abraham Lincoln. Yes, it will be played on an aircraft actual carrier. Actual naval carrier. We have South Carolina Upstate, the men's there 1-0, taking on the number 7 ranked Duke Blue Devils. So that's going to be a tall task for those guys up the Upstate, the Spartans. Then we have Stony Brook 0-1 at home tonight here in Stony Brook, New York, taking on Miami Hamilton College. Probably a Division II or Division III. We have Hendrix. We have Hendrix College taking on the Central Arkansas, the Bears. We have College of Charleston 1-0 taking on number 1 ranked North Carolina Tar Heels. They're undefeated here at the Dean E. Smith Center. We got Duquesne 1-0 taking on the number 4 ranked Wildcats of Kentucky, who are also 1-0. We got the number 16 ranked Villanova Wildcats taking on the Temple Owls today in Philadelphia, PA at the Lacrosse Center. We have 1-0 SMU Mustangs taking on the number 24 ranked Dayton Flyers at the Dayton Arena in Dayton, Ohio. We have the Akron Zips taking on the Bulldogs of Mississippi State. Them Dogs of Mississippi State. This game is also being played at the Wells Fargo Center where the 76ers are playing. Or where the 76ers are home to. So looks like we got some games being played there. We also have Bowling Green 1-0 taking down Oakland in Rochester, Michigan, not Oakland, California. Oakland College in Michigan, Ohio, and out there in Michigan. We got Allen University taking on UNC Wilmington. We have Iona taking on Hofstra. Both teams are 1-0. This game will be played at the David S. Mack Sports and Exhibition Complex in Hempstead, New York. We got Maine, Fort Kent University taking on actual Maine, the Black Bears. We got the Methodist College taking on Coastal Carolina. We got Old Dominion, the Monarchs, taking on Drexel Dragons. We have Mount St. Mary's taking on Coppin State. We have McNeese State taking on Tulane. We have Northern Iowa taking on Richmond. We have Longwood and George Mason. We have Central Connecticut in Manhattan. We have Bryant in Dartmouth. We have Belmont in Furman. Cal State Bakersfield in Utah. Austin Peay in Purdue. St. Francis of Brooklyn against Minnesota, the Golden Gophers. Kansas State versus Cal Berkeley, the Bears. Southern Miss versus Vanderbilt. We got Florida Atlantic and Ole Miss. Kennesaw State in Florida. West Virginia, Pittsburgh, Campbell, and North Carolina State. UNC Greensboro, Miami Hurricanes. Florida State in Central Florida. Clemson in South Carolina. Stanford in Wisconsin. Norfolk State, number 5, Baylor. Fordham and number 10, Arkansas. Lamar versus number 14, TCU. South Florida versus number 15, Auburn Tigers. Liberty taking on number 20, Alabama. Texas A&M Commerce and Northern Colorado. John Brown and Oral Roberts. Chicago State and St. Thomas of Minnesota. Loyola Chicago and the University of Illinois Chicago. The University of Texas San Antonio and Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Montana Xavier. Colorado Grambling. Northern Illinois Northwestern. North Carolina A&T and Iowa. Arkansas Pine Bluff versus Oklahoma. Abilene Christian and Texas A&M. Pennsylvania Missouri. Princeton at the Navy. Ellion East Tennessee State. Georgia Wake Forest. Southern Arizona, number 17, Arizona Wildcats. Monmouth, number 18, Virginia. Eastern Michigan and number 22, Michigan Wolverines. Kansas Roos taking on the number 23 ranked Illinois Fighting Illini. Florida A&M and Oregon State. Bradley and Utah State. South Alabama and New Mexico. Yale and Eastern Washington. Southeast Louisiana against Colorado State. New Jersey I-Tech versus California Baptist. Pepperdine and Cal State Fullerton. Portland State and Portland. Western Illinois and DePaul. BYU and number 19 ranked San Diego State Aztecas. The Long Beach State versus number 8 ranked UCLA Bruins. UC Irvine taking on number 21 ranked Oregon Ducks. We have the North Florida taking on Washington. And the last game of the night is in Hawaii. Mississippi Valley State versus Hawaii. One game has gone final. New Hampshire beats Fairfield 83-71. New Hampshire goes to 2-0 at home on the season. Fairfield goes to 0-2. They play both games on the road. New Hampshire's have won both games starting at home stretch. Ooh, so obviously let's go back to this game here. We got a 66-63 here. Detroit Mercy here in Boston College here. We got 54 seconds to go here. So Boston College trying to either keep it to go to overtime here, or Detroit Mercy is trying to get a big victory for their college here to beat a, Boston College is pretty well known and they're pretty decent in basketball. I mean, maybe the last few years they've kind of, but definitely in the past they've, Jared Dudley is definitely somebody that, people might remember from the past. Was really good. But then we have Jacksonville and Johnson University here. With 16:25 to go, Jacksonville leads 50-29. All right, so let's go to the women's now. I hate to leave this Detroit and this Boston College game, but hey, Went back to back. Hey, that. I mean, something they're looking at here as far as the women's side here. South Carolina, they're really good. They're playing today here. They play Maryland here. They play number 17 ranked Terrapins of Maryland here, and number 1 ranked South Carolina women. So all right, we have third quarter action here between North Dakota and Wyoming. North Dakota, the Fighting Hawks, the Lady Hawks, are winning 34-29 against the Lady Cowboys or the Lady Cowgirls.
Yeah.
And then we got Utah Valley taking on Utah there. The battle of Utah. The women are battling out in Utah today. We got Washington State and San Francisco Dons here. Both ladies teams are undefeated there. You got Grambling and Arizona State, Pac-12 versus SWAC Legacy Series. We got Kansas State and Wisconsin. We got Southeast Louisiana and Utah State. We got Canis and Toledo. We have number 1 ranked South Carolina taking on number 17 ranked Maryland Terrapins. Game will be on ESPN2 at 3 o'clock West Coast time, obviously 6 o'clock East Coast time. What?
We have to go when Mom gets off work because they're open every other Saturday. But she said it only takes 6 minutes for a smog. So.
All right. St. Andrews and North Carolina A&T here. Then we got Coppin State and Charlotte. We have Morehead State in Kentucky. Then we have Florida A&M in South Florida. We have William and Mary and VCU, Virginia Commonwealth. We have Brown, the ladies of Brown, taking on Duquesne, the Dukettes. We have the Furman, the Lady Paladins, taking on the Lady Blue Hose of Presbyterian. Northern Alabama, Mississippi State, UMass Lowell, number 11 ranked Indiana Hoosiers, Bucknell, taking on the Lady Hokies of Virginia Tech, number 13 ranked. We have Villanova, the Lady Wildcats of Villanova, 1-0 here and 1-0 on the road here, taking on the number 24 ranked Princeton Tigers. The Lady Tigers are 1-0 as well. Then we have the St. Francis of Pennsylvania, the Red Flashes. The Lady Red Flashes are taking on the ladies of Michigan. The Lady Wolverines are ranked 25. They are 1-0 already on the season. We have Eastern Tennessee State and St. Bonaventure here. Both of these ladies' teams are 0-1, so both ladies' teams are looking for their first victory of the season. We have Merrimack and Albany. Albany, the Lady Great Danes. It is their first game of the season. Merrimack, the Lady Warriors are obviously coming off a loss here. So the Lady Grizzlies of Montana are taking on the Lady Rams of Colorado State. We have Appalachian State versus Eastern Kentucky. We have Western Illinois and Southern Indiana. We have Lafayette and New Jersey I-Tech. We have Yale and St. Joseph's. We have St. Francis, Brooklyn, and we have the Red Storm, the Lady Red Storm of St. John's. We have Stonehill and Providence. We have Seton Hall and Rutgers. The Battle of New Jersey right there. We got Fairfield and Penn State. We got Cal State Bakersfield and Fresno. Northwestern State and Oklahoma State. We have Mississippi Valley State and number 16 ranked LSU, the Lady Tigers of LSU. We have Lehigh. They're 1-0. Ladies of Lehigh are 1-0, taking on 0-1, number 23 ranked South Dakota State here. So South Dakota State looking for some revenge here. Maybe the Lehigh Hawks coming in for some upsets. We have the ladies of UC Davis taking on the Lady Huskies of Washington. Both teams are undefeated. We have Tennessee State, the Lady Tigers of Tennessee State versus the Lady Roos of Kansas City, 1-0. Both teams are 1-0. Then we have Northern Colorado and Denver, Battle of Colorado. We have Holy Cross on the road taking on Marquette. We have Jarvis Christian versus Lamar. And we have the Ladies of the Raging Cajun taking on the number 3 ranked Texas Longhorns. This is the Lady Longhorns' first game of the season here. We have Oral Roberts and UNLV. We have Southern Illinois University of Edwardsville versus St. Louis, the Lady Billikens. We have Eastern Washington and Boise State. We got the number 2 ranked Stanford Lady Cardinals taking on the 1-0 Pacific Tigers, Lady Pacific Tigers here, 1-0 in the season here. And the Ladies of Houston Christian here, 1-0, going up against number 22 ranked Nebraska Huskers, the Lady Huskers that are 1-0 as well. And then we have Cal State Fullerton and Santa Clara, and Cal State San Marcos and Loyola Marymount. We already had some final games. Number 15 ranked Oklahoma ends up being 2-0 in the season, taking care of the SMU Lady Mustangs 97-74 today in Norman, Oklahoma. Then we had Miami, Ohio, the ladies of Miami, Ohio, the Lady Redhawks win 79-73 over Vermont. Vermont is 0-2 now on the season. Then we have Arkansas, the Lady Hogs here, the Lady Razorbacks here are 2-0 on the season as they win 72-34 over the Central Arkansas. The Sugar Bears here, the Lady Sugar Bears here are 0-2 on the season here. And the Ladies of Air Force here take down the Ladies of Navy here. In the day of the Veterans Day here, the Ladies of Air Force win 90-50. So definitely that game probably was over as usually. And the Ladies of Air Force are 2-0 in the season, 1-0 at home. And the Ladies of Navy are 0-2 on the season here. And then we had Rhode Island, Ladies of Rhode Island, the Lady Rams of Rhode Island are 89-36 over the Ladies of Dartmouth. 89-36 here, so obviously we have a lot of games. So let's go back to that. Let's find out who won that Detroit game here. So we got some games that we're definitely going to pick here, and you know, we're going to go down the list. We're not going to pick everyone. We're going to pick the ones that we specifically like the best. You know, and then we're going to go with them here. We got to kind of get better with it. I mean, I've kind of started to get a little bit better with certain teams. Try to figure it out somewhat here. The over-under kind of tricky. The over-unders is just, to me, is kind of you got to be very careful. Certain teams just, and a lot of these games right now are all out of conference, so it's a little bit different. Oh, foul on Detroit. So it looks like Boston College is going to get the win here now. 68-66 here. The Boston College makes a free throw here. So it should be 66-68 here. All right. There's 3 seconds on the clock here. You got Madsen here. We got Mason Madsen here. There used to be a Madsen that used to play for Stanford as well. So maybe that's one of the offsprings kids that's out there playing here. And it looks like a 66-69 victory here for the Boston College Eagles here. Unless somehow Detroit Mercy has a shot to hit a three-pointer and tie this and send this to overtime. Jacksonville is still leading Johnson University 65-29 with 11:44 to go in the second half. Men's college, they play 2 halves. The the ladies, they play all 4 quarters just like the WNBA. And see, I just don't understand why the men don't play 4 quarters themselves. But yes. All right. So yes, 70 to 66 here was the final score. Boston College. So obviously the next games are starting at 2 o'clock here. Between undefeated Fresno State and Santa Barbara. They're down in Santa. They're playing here in Santa Cruz. So basically a kind of a neutral site here. Well, I think Santa Barbara plays UC Santa Cruz. So I mean Delaware's minus to win by a point and a half here. I kind of like Air Force today here. I know they're 0-1 here. I know they're 0-1 on the season here. But the ladies ended up getting a victory today here. So I think the men, the ladies got a big victory over the ladies of Navy. So I don't know if they do like a commander and hoop champions in basketball here, but the ladies so far of Air Force have gotten the first nod in the academy battle. But then we also have some NBA here tonight. We're NBA, we got some college football here tonight. So let's break down the NBA here. We had NFL last night, and like I said here, but we start off with the game that starts on NBA TV tonight here. We got the 8-3 Nuggets on the road. They're 4-3 on the road, taking on the 8-3 Celtics. Celtics are 4-1 actually at home, so Celtics actually play a lot better at home here. So this game here, Celtics are minus 4.5 right now. Over under is 230.5. So interesting. Then we have the 8-3 Suns. They're 2-2 on the road. Going into Orlando. Orlando is 3-9, 3-3. Pablo Banchero is a game time decision, so we'll find out here if he will be playing here tonight. The Suns have been gone on a hot streak as of late here, so the Suns are on fire, as they say. We have the Pistons. They're 3-9. They're 0-6 on the road. They have not won a road game. Cade Cunningham is also game time decision here in Madison Square Garden. The Knicks are 5-6, 3-2 at home here. The Knicks haven't been a bad team like last year, but they just got to really, they need to get into a really good groove and figure things out. And I think the Knicks could be all right here. Then we have the 7-5 Toronto Raptors. They're 2-4 on the road, taking on the 4-7 Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder are 3-3 at home, so they're basically 500. So this is a very interesting matchup here. I like the Raptors a lot here. But I think, the Thunder have been competitive, even though they don't have Chet. I mean, if they had Chet, man, I'm telling you, this team would be a whole different beast out here. But it's maybe a good thing that Chet's not playing. Maybe he gets a chance to put on some weight and to actually just get some time to, see the speed of the NBA compared to college. Then we have the 10-1 Milwaukee Bucks. They're 3-1 on the road, taking on the 5. We have the 10-1 Milwaukee Bucks. They're 3-1 on the road versus the 5-7 San Antonio Spurs. They're 2-5 at home here, so go figure there. Then we have the 5-7 Timberwolves. They're 1-2 on the road, taking on the 8-4 Memphis Grizzlies that are 4-1 at home. The Grizzlies are pretty much dominant at home, so I wouldn't see no change there. We obviously, San Antonio's favorite -2, so I'm assuming Giannis is not playing again. I do not know. You'll have to get some more clarity in that game. Then we have the 4-6 Sacramento Kings. They're 2-3 on the road, taking on the 2-9. They're 2-4 at home. Lakers here. No LeBron. So, all bad business. All right, we have NHL hockey here. Let's break it down here. We got some hockey. We have the Penguins and the Maple Leafs here. Penguins are 5-6-2. Maple Leafs are 7-4-3. We have Tampa Bay Lightning 7-5-1 taking on the Capitals are 6-7-2. We have the San Jose Sharks that are 3-9-3 taking on the 8-4-1 Stars of Dallas. We have the Wild that is 6-6-1 taking on the Kraken that is 8-4-2. And then we have college here. We have some college. We have Sac State and Portland. Portland State here. That game will be late here. That's a late game. We obviously got a couple early games. I assume there's going to be a couple early games here. Yes, we have Eastern Carolina, the Pirates of East Carolina. They are 6-3, 3-2 in the American Conference here. And then they're taking on the Cincinnati Bearcats that are 7-2, 4-1 in the American Conference. So both these teams are foes in the conference, facing it off today. Then we have Colorado, 1-8, 1-5 in the Pac-12, taking on the number 8 ranked USC Trojans here that are 8-1, 6-1 in the Pac-12 here. So they're playing at the Coliseum tonight. So, and then we have a Mountain West. We have a Mountain West matchup here between the 5-4 Fresno State that is 4-1 in the Mountain West, taking on the 4-5, 2-3 in the Mountain West UNLV Running Rebels at Allegiant Stadium, which is the Raider Stadium. So they're playing the Raider Stadium. So, and then like I said, Sacramento State and we have I believe Sac State is the only Sac State and Portland. State is the only yes, Sacramento State. The Hornets of Sac State, they're 9-0, 6-0 in the Big Sky, taking on the 4-5 Portland State. 3-3 here, so Portland State going to try and get an upset here in Portland, Oregon tonight here. Trying to knock off the Sacramento State. Put the first loss on the Sacramento State Hornets here tonight here, but I like Sac State definitely here tonight. So yesterday I failed to mention about the NFL being sued. The NFL, Roger Goodell, Daniel Snyder, and the Commanders being sued by the DC District Attorney General here because of a report that was supposed to be put out but was never put out, was basically covered up, and so therefore we have to see what happens there. Obviously, not a very good look for Mr. Roger Goodell. I'll say that, to say the least here. But that is basically the sports for today. That is the sports that we got here. We just got to get. All right. All right. We definitely gotta see. All right. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Well, guess that's how the cookie's gonna crumble here. I guess I don't know. But yeah, a lot of good games here. A lot of games that we kind of do like, we do pick. But we'll be back. We're gonna be back later because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a play-by-play here of the NBA here today. Just for Veterans Day here. I do it every Friday. I try to do play-by-play here. Try to watch the games, get a bunch of games, and try to do play-by-play. Talk about certain players. Talk about who's gonna score the basket. The best of my knowledge. Obviously, I'm not the whatever, but this is what I try to do. But yeah. So rep it for all the veterans all around the world. This is Fresh Funky, and we'll be back a little bit later here. So, peace out.